Welcome back to Take Action News, everybody. David Shuster here. So glad to have you with us, both on WeActRadio.com, TakeActionNews.com, also on our syndicated radio stations, and also on our YouTube channel, Take Action News TV. The conservative media, folks, they have a new star. Yes, a new conservative media star who's apparently getting even more attention than Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity. His name is Alex Jones. He started up a petition to get Piers Morgan deported. One of those White House petitions where the White House is forced to respond. Alex Jones wrote in his petition that Piers Morgan should be deported for using his platform to attack the Second Amendment, and because Piers Morgan is a British citizen, he should be deported back to Great Britain. Well, Piers Morgan invited Alex Jones onto his own show on CNN, and here's part of what Alex Jones said.
Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand?
Now, a lot of people understood Alex Jones to be some sort of crazy man, some sort of a fringe character. But, folks, I have to tell you, he's not. This is a guy who has a radio show in Austin, Texas that is carried over the Genesis Communications Network on over 70 AM and FM radio stations. He describes himself as a conservative. He is also, though, a right-wing conspiracy theorist. He believes that the U.S. government was involved in the Oklahoma City bombing and the September 11 attacks. But despite this craziness and despite his in-your-face attitude, this is a guy, again, with his 70 radio stations, he has an audience estimated at more than 2 million people. That's right. This isn't some crank. This isn't some crazy guy. 2 million people listen to this guy. Daniel Marins, what do you make of that? And what does that say about the right wing in our society when somebody like this can have such a huge following?
Well, David, I think, first of all, it's important to note that there are some subtle ideological differences between, let's say, an Alex Jones and a Sean Hannity, or a Bill O'Reilly and a Rush Limbaugh. The latter three I would put more in the category of kind of mainstream Republican, traditional right-wingers, social conservatives. They're in favor of a strong national defense, foreign interventionism of the United States military abroad, a national security surveillance state, and many things like that. Alex Jones I would put in sort of the Ron Paul hardcore libertarian category. And if you listen to some of the things that he says in other parts of that Piers interview, and really just in general, there's some things, as usual, that progressives might find that they could agree with. He's extremely skeptical of Wall Street and the power that they have. He's extremely skeptical of corporate welfare. And he's fervently anti-war and skeptical of our interventionism abroad. Now, he takes it much, much further into believing in these sort of cynical conspiratorial plots that are out there. But what I find so interesting about it is he talks about how sort of the elites can't be trusted, that there are people that think that they know better than us to make decisions about the economy, about various aspects of our lives. And to me, that reminded me of sort of the institutional skepticism that Chris Hayes describes in his book, Twilight of the Elites, America After Meritocracy. Because what Chris Hayes talks about is that, in fact, there is this entrenched elite that when we saw it in the Enron scandal, when we saw it in the blow-up of the subprime housing bubble, that they are, and even in Major League Baseball, the steroids crisis, and in the Catholic Church and the child abuse crisis, that basically have become more sympathetic, are so believe that they have the technical knowledge and the specialized knowledge to make decisions on our behalf, and they know what is right for us, that they can make these decisions insulated from the consequences. They've created structures in which other people that are affected by their consequences are not allowed into their universe because it's so selective and difficult if you do not have the tools and the resources and the privilege to get into those circles. That we have a complete breakdown of accountability and really democratization and democracy in America. So I think that in some ways the conspiracy theories that Alex Jones promotes are a function of that breakdown of confidence in American institutions.
And I get that there's a lot of a lack of confidence out there and a lot of skepticism. I guess my concern is that there's a certain fear that is driving so many of these people that they are whipping up. And when somebody uses the words, Mitch Molaski, that somebody is like Hitler or Hugo Chavez or Stalin, and making that comparison between what I think are, and most Americans would think are, reasonable efforts to try to protect our kids, and then say, oh, well, this is 1776 all over again because we have a Hitler who's trying to take your guns away. For people who are uneducated or uninformed, this gets them totally riled up, whipped up, and fearful of some of the very institutions that I think we have to have a certain basic trust in, right?
Oh, yeah, certainly. I mean, and using those sort of very inflammatory names in such a case, you know, definitely, I think, is not only sort of offensive to the victims of those people, but you know, takes away the power and effect of those histories, especially when you're talking about something that is guns. It is an item. It is a product that you know, you purchase. It is not your own life and limb. It is not someone you know, directly telling you that you have to live in this place. You have to take, you know, even I could see people you know, getting riled up for certain other things that, you know, might make more sense, but for a gun, for a sort of additional item that is not part of your basic need. You know, you don't wake up and you know, and go fire your gun. You wake up and you eat food. You know, I could see getting angered about that, but to use such inflammatory, you know, history and names is definitely a stretch in this case.
For anybody who wants to take action over Alex Jones, anybody who wants to take action, it is the Genesis Communication Network. Keep in mind that none of us have a right to have a radio show or to broadcast over the airwaves. There's no such inherent right. We have freedom of speech rights, but there's no right to be employed by any particular communications company. So folks who don't like Alex Jones or don't like his style, contact the Genesis Communications Network.